So y'all, Father's Day is this month, and I wanted to talk a little bit. Can I be open and honest with you guys? Can I open up a little bit, give a little bit of open dialogue here? Because I feel like it's Father's Day. Okay, Father's Day is this month. I feel like Father's Day is coming up. Sorry, I don't feel like it's Father's Day. Father's Day is coming up. And to be honest, I wanted to talk a little bit about my let's talk about fathers. Let's talk about dads. Okay, let's talk about dads. That's the best way that I can put it. And I know everybody's gonna, you know, divvy out their own opinion to this video, which is fine too. That's fine. When I post videos on YouTube, honestly, y'all, the situation is already released. I don't talk about things that bother me or things that, I don't know. I wouldn't even have a conversation about it if it was something that bothered, to be honest. I keep things under wraps until I'm over the situation. So if you see me post about something or if you see me talk about something, I'm probably at the point where either A, I really don't give a damn, or B, I just probably felt like talking about it and I just didn't give a damn about the opinions of others at that point, right? With that being said, for those of y'all that do not know, I was raised with my father and with my dad. Now a lot of y'all might get confused as I discuss this topic, okay? So I want to make something very clear. My dad, the man that raised me, the man that has been there for me throughout everything. Y'all already know him, okay? You've seen him in videos, you've seen him around, and of course, you know, now he's getting ready to be the granddad to Royal, and it's just a super exciting process, so you'll probably see him in more videos moving forward, of course. And then my biological father, who I have rarely discussed here on this platform, but a lot of people already know who my biological father is. If you know me personally, you know who my biological father is 9 times out of 10, or you've probably heard about him at some point. My biological father is passed on, for those of y'all that do not know. He passed away. Honestly, I don't even remember what year my dad, I don't even remember. But yeah, he's passed on now. And you guys, I remember my childhood being great. Like, I had a great childhood, but I paused there for a second because when it came to my childhood, I just remember my father, once my mom moved on and she got remarried and all these different things, he kind of became, I wouldn't say, can I use distant as the right word here? I guess I can say distant, right? He didn't really want to take up his part as a father because of the fact that my mom had moved forward with her life, okay? Because my mom left him shortly after I was born, right? So his mindset was always that I guess the relationship would come back together at some point, that they would end up back together, and that they would run off into the sunsets and live this fairy tale lifestyle, right? He held on to this until the day that he passed away, okay? I remember him asking me, you know, do you want me and your mom to get back together? Questions that you really don't ask a child, but you know, most people don't really think about things like that. And I'm like, no, like, my mom's married and life's great. Like, I have everything that I need here. So y'all, once he realized that my mom was in a relationship, once he realized that that was something that was never going to come around again and it just was what it was, then this is when the saga continued, okay? The BS continued, okay? Now I'm not gonna go over all of my father and my mom's personal business as the relationship ended, but of course, when somebody's feelings are hurt, they do a lot of petty things, okay? We all know how this works. People do petty stuff when their feelings are hurt, right? So his feelings were hurt in terms of a lot of things, and as I grew older, I just remember my mom going back and forth to court, dealing with him, right? Because he didn't want to pay child support. No matter what number of child support it was too high. It was just ridiculous, okay? It got to the point where then he was denying me because he didn't want to pay child support. He didn't really want to take up the responsibility anymore because of the fact my mom was then in a relationship, okay? And throughout all this, of course, time is passing. I'm growing up, I'm growing older, and I didn't know my father. I didn't really have a relationship with my father like that. I saw him occasionally every other weekend, right? There would be weekends where he'd say he was coming and he wouldn't show up, right? This is what happens with a lot of dads. We know. So, there would be weekends where he'd say, oh, I said I was going to come and get Maddie the next weekend. Okay, this is the typical thing. A lot of men, and I'm not going to say all, because this is not all men. I don't like to generalize a whole group of people, right? But a lot of them will just kind of slide the responsibility to the side. Of course, because most men are not as active as a lot of mothers are. We know this, right? And of course, if a man is not in the household with his child, 9 times out of 10, it's just a little bit different. It's a little bit odd in terms of the setup, right? So we'd visit him pretty much every other weekend for a little amount of time. And then it got to the point where we weren't really singing at all, right? And when I say we, I mean me and my sister Brianna, because when she was first born, he was there at her delivery. He was basically her dad, okay? And basically raised her for like the first 3 years of her life, right? So when he came to get me during the weekends, he would also get her as well. And I remember my father coming to pick me up, and I would just cry, and I would kick, and I would scream, and I would want to stay at home with my mom and with my dad, okay? I remember just like I'm being sent off with a stranger. Like, I don't know this man. Okay, you're gonna up and come and pick me up. Yeah, you're my father, but I don't know you like that. Like, I'm thinking in my head, I'm in the household with my dad. I know that this is my dad, right? But I'm in the household with my dad. I'm in the household with the man that takes care of me, that makes sure that I have everything that I need, that never tells me no when it comes to anything that I want. And I'm left to go off with this man because he created me, and somehow, some way, he's my father because he created me. Okay, now of course you're not thinking that deeply as a child, but he wouldn't really understand why I was acting out, or why whenever he came to pick me up I was kicking and hollering and screaming. It's because I don't know you. Okay, you could be a father, you can create a child, but if a child really doesn't see you like that, 2-3 weeks without seeing a child is a long time. The odds of them remembering you are kind of slim. So yeah, and it wasn't like we were really FaceTiming or anything around this time. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. Took my mom through the custody battle. Well, not really custody battles, but I would say child support battle. Took my mom through all this stuff to the point where the judge got so tired of seeing them come into the courtroom that he said, if y'all show back up in my courtroom talking about some child support, I'm gonna lock both of y'all up. Because the judge got tired. He got tired of seeing them both come into his courtroom. And of course, this was all at the hands of my father. So while all this is going on, of course, time is passing. And of course, he's missing time out of my life. And I ended up hearing different things as I grew older. I ended up hearing that my father denied me, of course, at some point. And all this different type of stuff came out, right? Once I started hitting like 14, 15, you start hearing different things, okay? And the thing with a child, right? A child never stays a child forever, right? At some point they grow up. At some point, I grew up. I learned a lot of different things about my father. And I honestly knew that my father was getting ready to pass soon. So y'all, I asked the question. I was like, did you deny me at some point? Oh, well, no, I didn't deny you, and blah, 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 blah. I don't know why anybody would say that. I'm like, hold on. Let's pump the brakes here. I'm gonna tell y'all this. Do not do anything, say anything, move any type of, if it's something that you would not want this child potentially finding out about at some point, it's just best to not even have anything to do with it. So he had already missed a big chunk out of my life. I did not really have that connection with my father because of the fact that he was so distant. And y'all, I don't emotionally cling to people like that. Like, if you're gone, you're gone. Okay, that's the way that I think about it. I'm not the type of person to chase somebody down for a relationship or do any of that, try to make anything into what it's not, because if you're gone, you're gone, and at the end of the day, that's on you. You're the one that's missing time out of your child's life, okay? And that's something that you'll have to answer to them about at some point. That's the way that I think about it. So I'm not with the, well, you're my dad, let me force you to be my dad, or let me try to make you into that, because why? I shouldn't have to. So yeah, all that happened, all that transpired. And I remember the last time that we went to court, my dad, who you all know, have all seen here on this YouTube platform, he said, you know, you don't have to take care of Maddie. You don't have to worry about Maddie. We don't have to keep going back and forth to court for child support. You don't have to do any of that because Maddie is going to be taken care of regardless. And I remember him saying this to me. And to this day, all of that stands true, okay? My dad has taken care of me, he's raised me. There has been nothing under the sun that I could not ask my dad for that I did not get. I have been very blessed and very fortunate to have my dad. And I'm so happy. I'm getting emotional. But I'm so happy. Sorry, y'all. I gotta take a break, okay? Because I don't think I've ever gotten emotional on a YouTube video. But I'm so happy that Royal is going to get to experience her grandfather and know him. Because my dad is a great man, okay? Let me say that 100%. A great man. Just the definition overall of how a man should be. Oh, let me take a break. Okay, y'all. I think I'm together. I think I'm together. But just the overall definition of how a man should be. And when I talk about men, or I think about the way that, you know, a man should be, my dad is the literal definition, okay? Because when it has came to this family, when it has came to me being raised, my sister being raised, and all of my dad's daughters, all of us, he has went above and beyond. He hasn't taken any short steps. He has did his part 100%. Whew. Even in the case of me and my sister, for children that were not his, right? So, y'all, I always said, you know, when I get ready to have kids, I didn't want to do it with just any man, of course, because I've had the blueprint of what an amazing man is and what an amazing father is, okay? So my dad is just top tier, and I'm grateful that, again, Royal will get to know her grandfather. And y'all, I have just been so blessed throughout my life. People always ask me, oh, what about your father? Do you miss your father? And I'm like, no, like, you can't really miss somebody that you never really had that kind of relationship with. I think I loved my father because he was my father. But in terms of being an actual father, being an actual somebody who actually takes care of their children, who is actually there every step of the way, I can't give those type of props, to be honest, because a father is there day in and day out, okay? You're not active when you want to. You're active all around the board. You don't have excuses for why you're not doing this and why you're not doing that, and why you're active all around the board. And a real father, a real dad, nothing takes him away from his kid. Nothing takes him away from, you know, being there and being active. So yes, his feelings could have been hurt in terms of a lot of things. He could have had his feelings hurt because my mom moved on. Whatever the case may have been. But at the end of the day, nothing should take away from you being a parent, being a father, being a real man, okay? And I say that with no disrespect, but with just being honest, okay? So, with that being said, I wanted to take this time in this video to honor my dad and to say, thank you, Dad. I love you. Thank you so much for all that you did for my mom, for me, for my sister, for all of us. Heck, for all that you did for Royal. And Royal ain't even here, okay? Y'all, I did not expect to cry in this video, but we all know I'm pregnant, so look. And I remember when I found out I was pregnant, it took me, how long did it take me to tell my dad that I was pregnant? I got pregnant in October. I took my pregnancy test in November, and I did not tell my dad I was pregnant until December after I got my first ultrasound. And I remember being so nervous to tell my dad that I was pregnant. I remember being so nervous. I knew that it was not going to be a bad thing and that he was not going to be angry or mad about it. But y'all, I was nervous, okay? And my mom was like, you gotta tell your dad. You gotta tell your dad you're pregnant. And I was like, okay. So Royal was just like this big at that point. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna tell my dad. Told my dad, and of course we did end up recording the whole entire reaction when I told my dad that I was pregnant. And to be honest, like, this household is very peaceful and there's so much joy here, but Royal has brought a whole nother level of joy. I don't think this little girl knows how loved she is. I can 100%. I don't think she knows how loved she is. Well, of course she doesn't. She's not even here yet. But it's just been such a beautiful experience. My parents have made this one of the easiest experiences for me. Here I am again. Oh my gosh. Why are you crying, Maddie? Can somebody please help me? Why am I crying? You never see me cry, okay? I'm gangster. Okay. I don't know why I'm crying. But you guys, they have made my pregnancy so easy. And I've been so blessed to have my parents. And just, y'all, literally. So when I say I have not had to stress about anything throughout my pregnancy, I have not had to worry, I have not had to fret. Oh child, I'm messing up my makeup. I got a sponsorship to record after this. Look, hold on, pull it together, Maddie. I am so grateful. And I think I'm also kind of emotional because at the beginning of my pregnancy, when it came to my parents, y'all, I was so irritated with everybody. And I really, when it came to my parents, I really lashed out on my parents a lot because I'm, like, you know, I was so busy and bound up in my relationship. And wow, I'm just so grateful for the support I've received, both of my parents. And I need to log off here, y'all, because I'm just rambling at this point and I am crying. But it made me think about all this because last night, I actually ended up going to the hospital, right? I went to the hospital. I wasn't contracting or anything. I just had like some light spotting, right? So I'm like, let me go and let me make sure that everything's okay with baby girl. Went to the hospital. They sent me up to the labor and delivery unit, and just my parents and their overall support, how supportive they are of all things. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Y'all, I've been blessed tremendously. So I said all that to say, you know, shout out to all of the real fathers in the world, the real dads who do their part, okay? Without any hesitation, without making excuses, without being stuck on bullshit. Just real, shout out to the real men in the world. And that is why when people get under my video or they talk about, oh, there's no good men left, all these different stigmas, I'm like, there are 100% good men left. A lot of times you may not choose the best man, and you can take that up with yourself, but I have been blessed to know some wonderful men, and I just definitely do not want to not use my platform and not honor these men, okay? Not honor my father, I'm sorry, my dad, and not uplift him because he's been amazing, been better than good to us. And yeah, I'm done being emotional. But I will say this, my father did thank my dad. He thanked my dad a lot of times, especially towards the end of his life. He said, thank you so much for taking care of my daughter, because he knew it was a lot of stuff that he probably didn't do right as a father or probably did not take part in. But one thing for sure, God provides, okay? And when something is lacking in a certain area, 9 times out of 10, God's going to replace it with something better, okay? And that's one thing that I've learned throughout my life, which is why you'll see me, I'm not the type of person to really worry or really press too deeply on any issues. If you know me, you probably know this, because I'm a witness and I've learned that God provides. And when something is lacking, he provides it. So, and a lot of times it's better than what you would have received otherwise, okay? So, like I said, I've been blessed. I wanted to make this video in honor of my dad, and I just wanted to take a moment to just tell you guys a little bit about myself. And I don't know if I'll post this video, but if I do, hey girl, hey, you are seeing this video. I don't think I've ever cried in a YouTube video before, so that's a first. But your girl is pregnant, so look, don't take away don't think that your girl ain't strong, okay? Because I shed a few tears. But anyways, you guys, that's it for this video. I want you guys to send some love to my dad down below. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to clock out because I do need to film this sponsorship. I don't know why I'm sitting here making videos to make myself cry and make myself emotional, but y'all is. So anyway, I'm out of here.